longer and harder. So how do we avoid the daily hassle, save time and money, and what's the future of our transport system? David Richardson puts Sydney to the test.
The big problem spots are the motorways, mainly the M2, the M4 and the M5.
Quite diabolical. I mean, I think Sydney is in danger of losing its status as a world city.
A crisis?
Yes, I would say a crisis.
It's the single biggest issue facing Sydney today. Traffic chaos, choked roads and motorways, often unreliable public transport, infrastructure that's decaying with age.
It needs a massive injection of capital, but more particularly it needs a massive injection of political will to turn it around.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic is the rule, not the exception. It's frustrating, stressful, hell on wheels. Has Sydney become ugly because of this?
I believe so.
Professor Stuart White from the Institute of Sustainable Futures believes the answer is simple.
If we invest in fast, frequent, safe, reliable public transport, then we know that people will move across to that instead.
So we put Australia's largest city to the test, choosing the routes at random. The only condition, each suburb had to be more than 10 kilometres outside the CBD. We set out to find which side of town gets the best public transport deal.
The train on platform 3.
And pitted that system against cars, even bikes. We're travelling from Coleroy Plateau on the Northern Beaches, 22 kilometres from the city as the crow flies, one of the worst parts of Sydney for public transport. Banker Phil Blanchard makes this run to the city every weekday. He's going by bus. We'll take the car.
If the public transport is working, Phil should beat us by a good 15 to 20 minutes, if not more.
Sadly today, the bus isn't working at all.
We seem to be getting off, actually.
Oh, you're all getting off?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
A change of buses at peak hour and already the car is winning this race, which it will, all the way into the city.
And that's the thing that you find sometimes with the buses, not all that reliable.
So over the distance, the car was marginally quicker. It costs $4 each way on the bus, a $4 morning toll for a car on the bridge. Taking away parking charges, it's about even.
I hate driving into work.
The northwest of Sydney is renowned for having the worst public transport in the city. Again, we'll drive for 32 kilometres. Vicky will take a bus, while Mario, a keen cyclist, will use the established bike tracks to try and outrace us. Within minutes of setting out, he does.
Just sitting at the lights at Delhi and Epping Road.
We are quite a long way behind you and the bus is right next to me.
About 45 minutes into the trip, we've got about probably 7 kilometres to go.
Despite no congestion on the bike track, though, the car eventually wins this race. Vicky's bus, a long, distant third. But on this run, it's the tolls that are the killer.
You've got to take into account $17 in tolls every day travelling from the northwest. So that's the penalty that we pay for living out there that a lot of other Sydney-siders don't have.
The drive took 53 minutes but cost $11.50 in tolls. There's even more tolls on the way home. Mario made it in an hour. The cost, just a lot of sweat and leg power. While Vicky took 70 minutes, it cost $12.20 return.
That adds up about $70 a week. I don't think I could afford that.
That's not cheap, is it?
No.
The eastern suburbs are probably the best served for transport because they're close to the city. Our driver does a late peak hour run from the city to La Perouse, 14 kilometres away. We'll also put someone on a bus. Lucy takes 35 minutes in her car. It costs $4 the other way into the city, nothing going home. While the bus took 3/4 of an hour, it cost the ticket. The western suburbs also face daily parking lots masquerading as motorways. The choice here, either trains or a slow, long car ride. We take the run from Liverpool, it's 40 kilometres. The car can take up to 2 hours longer if there's a smash. The train about 90 minutes and costs $10 return a day, $40 with a weekly ticket. Driving will cost you $8.80, $3.80 on the M5, $5 on the Eastern Distributor.
It's easy to drive for me. Like it takes me 45 minutes to get to work.
Security guard Nathan drives to work. We put someone on his train. We go from Gymea, 30 kilometres from the CBD in Sydney's south. Incredibly, Nathan outpaces the train with ease. It took him 43 minutes to drive and cost $5 in tolls. The train took more than an hour and cost $5 as well, but one way.
Yes, you could certainly compare it to third world. In fact, some third world cities are better than Sydney.
Architect and urban planner Philip Thallis surveyed our rail system. His findings are shocking.
So this is what we had 60 years ago, and this is what we've got now.
Yes, that's the loss in the state of play.
It's fairly stark when you look at it that way, but these pictures are even more amazing.
Well, they are, and remember that these focus on the inner city areas of Sydney which are best served.
The squiggly lines you see are our railway and light rail tracks. It looks like someone turned out the lights. There's just 23 odd kilometres of track in the CBD. Our overseas counterparts leave us for dead.
If we look at Berlin, it has 200 kilometres of rail infrastructure in the same areas as Sydney. Barcelona, 140 kilometres of track. If we look at our Asian competitors, Hong Kong and Singapore have just built brand spanking new, fabulous new metro lines through the city.
As an overall, I think we've got a pretty good transport system in Sydney and New South Wales.
Roads Minister Michael Daly admits there are problems, but he's angry at the constant criticisms of our transport system.
You want to see third world, go to some third world countries. Any suggestion that Sydney's traffic network, transport network is third world is just hyperbole, and I'm getting sick of people talking Sydney down. It's the best place on the planet to live.
The government insists it has some large projects planned, many more buses, a new metro rail, but nothing has started yet. Experts believe it's time to act, not talk.
What will happen if we don't do something soon?
Well, Sydney will slip further below Mumbai in the World City Stakes, so that's one outcome for sure.
We have missed the boat for 60 years, at least 60 years, if not 80 years, and we've got to catch up urgently now.
And when it comes to roads, it's not just a question of how to fix them, but who's responsible.